Folks, I don't know if you've heard the news, but this is game-breaking information. The one and only Brian Adamson is selling 100% of his real estate. Does this mean it's a time that all of us should sell? Does this mean that he's gonna, thinks a crash is coming like all of the doomers? I honestly have no idea. I heard this 2 seconds ago, just like you. So, all right, Brian, you're on a real estate channel called One Rental at a Time, and you just dropped the bomb saying you're going to sell all of your real estate. So, what's going on? What are we doing?
So just to get more context, right? Mike and I haven't talked in what, 6 weeks ish?
Probably,
now,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
between
probably.
traveling, where we've been and whatnot. So we literally backstage, and Mike was like, "Yeah, maybe we should talk about the stock market and this and that." I said, "Why don't we just talk about I'm selling all my real estate?" Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Record.
Yeah, so no, this is not some knee-jerk reaction. This is not emotional response to where the economy is. This is got everything to do with me personally, right?
Okay.
So I've realized in recent years, in the recent months, more specifically, that I want to continue to buy real estate, but in a different way, right? When I first started in 2006, everything I bought, my first 3 properties were mortgages.
Sure.
Then the market correction happened. Didn't see that coming. Had no idea what all of that meant. But during the contraction, I picked up close to 20 properties from 2008 to 10, cash, right? Obviously, the market was such that you could pick things up a lot less. But I remember the peace I had in that portfolio. Did I not plan for a bunch of stuff? Did I not have the education and all the various things to plan accordingly, or even to do the right due diligence on the front end of buying a lot of those assets? So that was my challenge with that previous portfolio. But I remember the peace of having that portfolio with no debt service on it.
Yep. Okay.
Then I go out and then I buy, 120 units, all the leverage, great equity positions, by the way. We bought everything pretty conservatively. But, I get online almost 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago. We generate over $5 million in revenue online in 6 years, which showed me a skill set that I didn't realize that I had, right? Being in corporate America, making $100,000 a year and getting online, making $1 million a year, like didn't know that existed. Didn't know that I had that capacity. Right. Don't get me wrong, there's been investments in myself and developing more skill and acumen and all of that over time. But the point is, I now have a certain level of skill that positions me to always make money. And there's no cap to the amount of money I can make based on the skill set that I've developed over time. So I've learned the ability, and I'm gonna say this tongue in cheek, but to make money easier, right? In larger quantities, to give me more capacity to kind of build this life that I want in any way that I want it.
Right. Okay.
So as a part of the evaluation process, I realized I want to build a new portfolio, but debt-free again, because going out, getting $3, $4, $5 million in debt to make the money that it produces on a monthly basis, and getting caught in debt cycles, and so back to scripture, right? Our previous series has been about scripture. So Proverbs 22:7, just as the rich rules the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender, right? Scripture. And I'm not telling everybody go out and live debt free. That's not my story to you. That's not my conversation to you. But at 41 and the quality of life that I desire for myself, the juice ain't worth the squeeze no more. There's no reason for me, because I can go out and produce money in large quantities. I could take that cash and just buy things free and clear again. I don't need to go lever up. Like I don't need to go to 10,000 doors. I don't, and anything that I want to buy, I could just go create the money to buy it. Right. And so, so for me, going back to that scripture, I don't care what position we're in. So as long as there's debt on the property, then we're exposed, period. Regardless of how conservative your position is, the one who writes the check makes the rules, period. Right. And so for me, I'm just at a place in life where I prefer not to. So I actually sold 5 of the properties. I got 5 more to sell, some of the larger ones. And yeah, I'm selling everything and kind of resetting.
So I want to paint the picture of what I heard you say.
Okay.
And as always, correct me where I may take it wrong. So again, what you've done is, and again, for people that don't recall, you live in Florida, but the majority, if not all, your investments are in Michigan. Let's not forget that, right? So,
Yes, sir.
out of area.
Yeah.
So you built a portfolio early on that was debt free. You got that felt good, right? You didn't have, you wouldn't get caught in debt cycles and refis and private money and all of that. You took that skill set and you quadrupled or quintupled the portfolio, but this time with leverage, solid equity, but with leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, you also you went online and you have grown the ability to produce what I'll call income in big chunks. And you now have certainty and evidence that you could do that pretty much anytime you want, right? You could go create another stack of money. So you've taken all of that. You're now 41. Let's not forget your daughter just got married, which is, one of those life events that really causes you to think, right? Because, now it's, you're the higher generation now, right? She's married, may have kids, all of that. So it's another moment in time that causes you to think and look to the future. You have a wonderful life with your wife, right? And you consistently are looking to improve that. So where you got to, in my opinion, was a point where it's like, I want to simplify. I want to simplify things. And first step for you is selling off the portfolio that's, I don't know what it is, 1,000 miles away, 2,000. I'm not very good with geography. It's far away.
Yeah. 1,000 miles.
So the question I had coming out of this, okay, makes total sense. You're going to produce another pile of cash. You're going to have some tax consequences, no doubt, right? Gains, depreciation, recapture, all of that. So I'm sure you'll set some aside for that. But when you talk about, I don't know if we want to call it rebuilding or building anew, this next portfolio, this debt-free portfolio, I'm going to wild ass guess it that it's not going to be in Michigan. Is that true, or you don't know yet?
That's a really good question, Mike. That's a really good question. I guess it depends on my appetite at that point in time.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that question and I leaned that direction, because if you were interested in rebuilding Michigan, then again, what my brain went to is, all right, sell the dogs, but pay off the golden ones or the good ones. And you exit this with not as big a tax hit, not as big depreciation recapture, and you still get to your goal of debt free. I mean, I don't know what it would take. It sounded like you had 6 properties or 8 properties, but maybe you sell 5 and pay off 3. Right. That was where I went with this. Oh, I think he's going to leave Michigan also.
So the issue with the Michigan portfolio is that I bought 120 units, all affordable. I want out of that space.
Got it. So that's the catch.
So to answer the question, right? That's the catch. That's the catch. So that's why I just got to get rid of all of it. And by the way, it ain't all of it won't be pretty. No, right. We'll do some. We'll do better on some than others, right? But at the very same time, the nuisance that it is in my life, it's a distraction for me.
Absolutely,
like, money don't justify the distraction. And albeit one call with the property management company per week, but there's still ongoing issues thereafter. It literally is just a distraction in my life, right. And so the only reason why I said that I don't know for sure if I may still buy in Michigan, but
you go up quality.
100%. I could buy in the suburbs of Michigan cash, right? At 250, those deals pencil make sense all day long. That same deal here in Florida may be $500,000. It don't make sense for me still.
Got it.
Right. So that's what I mean by I need to see what the appetite is at that point in time.
So it was going to be one or the other. It was going to be location or quality. So I went location first, but it's definitely a quality thing. So it's funny you bring this up because I have said this on a couple occasions. If I could design my perfect portfolio, it would be 20 single family homes, on the newer side, not affordable, right? Not that stuff.
100%. 100%.
B plus areas, and just be done. I mean, if you want to add on top of that 20 single family homes debt free, now you're talking Dave Ramsey stuff, right? That's a sexy portfolio, frankly.
That's where I'm at, Mike. The majority of this probably be new to new build,
right? Less than a decade old.
100%. Like that's the new focus. And even if I took my time with it this next go round, right?
Yeah.
And just did 2 a year, 1 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, in 10 years,
something like one rental at a time. You mean, Brian? You mean something
something like that? Something like that, Mike. But free and clear totally changes the game. Right? It just does.
I agree.
And in the season of life, I'm like, it's different when that's a means to get you out of your thing, right? Yep. I'm out of my thing now. My goals, I had to really look at my life. I'm like, I'm retired from corporate. I did that already. I don't need this for that anymore. So why not go and do it for the reasons that I need it in the next season of life that I'm going into, which you so well articulated with my daughter, potential grandkids coming. Although I'm 41, my lifestyle is older. You know what I mean? Even though I'm a younger man, because I got started with so much so early. So, the reason I wanted to even talk about this today is because I think a lot of the time we feel like we're stuck in life. Mm-hmm. And it's not that we're necessarily stuck. It's even worse, is that we're in bondage.
Yeah.
We're in bondage to decisions that we made in a previous season that we're unwilling to change based off of being uncomfortable or the perception or all of those things, but you're really in bondage to a decision that you made for a reason in a specific season. That season and the reason has changed, but you didn't change. And so I wanted to really bring this up to the community, because as you're looking at whatever your business model is, you have to be honest and true with yourself based on where you are, regardless of the flack that or the questions it may, or the people that may not understand. That's not important. What's important is you can't live in misery to a decision you made for a specific reason in a different season.
No, I think it takes a lot of courage to have that self-reflection and to, get on a new path. I think it's right for you. Again, when I think about you being 41 and what you'll be able to do by the time you're 50, I have no doubt in my mind by the time you're 50, you'll have 20 free and clear single family homes. I don't know what they'll produce, $3,000 in income each. Let's say after, all expenses, you take $2,000 a month. That's $40,000 on top of everything. That's $500,000 a year. So, I don't see anything but goodness, ahead of you. So I'm glad you're making this pivot, this decision. It's right for you. It's the right time. And I'm going to be looking forward to watching you grow.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it.
So what would be your closing thoughts for folks? Are you telling everybody out there to sell everything and just go buy new construction? What are you telling everyone out there that's watching you?
The first thing I'm telling everyone is never make an emotional knee-jerk reaction to nothing.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be Black Monday, Patrick Day, right? Everybody's been pontificate. You have to make decisions based off of your vision and horizon of your life, not based off of what's being stimulated in the news and in the economy.
I got to tell you, that's one of the things that I really love about real estate, because I know myself, I've proven it time and time again that I'm an emotional investor, right? I get up, I get down. And when I could sell or buy with a push of a button, I suck at trading. I suck at investing. But real estate, you can't sell it in a second, right? It takes more time and thoughtful. So often my emotions will get better of me and keep going. So I think that's wise advice. Don't be emotional.
For sure. And the other piece I would say, you will hear some people, I know many of you out there, because I've seen the questions in the comments before. Many of you desire to have a free and clear portfolio. And for whatever reason, you listen to other economists and other investors, and they tell you how stupid that is. And you can line them up. Your yield is not as great, all the things. And there's truth to both sides of it. Do what makes sense to you, though. That's all.
Yes.
That's my. I've done it both ways twice now. This will be my second go round of doing it both ways. And you got to do what brings you peace. Do what makes most sense for you. And at the end of the day, if you can afford to pay for something cash, then I'm not saying yield isn't a concern, but your means is more of the concern, right? If you got the means to do that and you feel good about it, then do it. Because you clearly possess the ability to make money otherwise. So it's not the last bit of money you're going to make. And if that gives you a certain level of peace and comfort, then screw the yield on what it will be. And this is a guy that's done it both ways. I just want to make sure I'm abundantly clear about this, right? Just do what makes you most comfortable and brings you peace. That's all.
Yeah, folks, at the end of the day, everybody needs to make the right decisions for yourself. For some of you out there that have the ability to produce piles of income, whether it be online, your job, stocks, whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with sticking that in a free and clear property, kind of a asset preservation. Also, know where you are in your journey. If you're early and getting started, right, nothing wrong with a house hack. There's nothing, right? Don't think you have to save and pay something off when you're 20. Know what season of life you're in. Brian's, right. At a point in time where he's really changing seasons, and it's going to be fun to watch and grow and watch how he does this. And I know one thing for sure, he could change his opinion, right? The market could change and he'll change his opinion again. So that's all good. Brian, where can people find you?
Brian Adamson official, all platforms. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, buddy. Take care. Nice to catch up.
Yes, always.